Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith and Ken Williams. Just saying that. Okay, that. Okay. Yeah, good. So, what's happening, Rogues?
I'm getting in the spirit for the Christmas holiday.
What is that you're eating, if I might ask?
It's Grandma's chocolate chip. Tastes really good, actually.
May I ask you a question?
When is expired? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 8.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say
18,
that. I hope that is 8 February 2016.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You promise not to get any kind of head rolling?
No,
or
I
like
promise that because it depends on what your question is. Yes, go ahead.
Do you recall ever bringing me a snack?
Yes.
You do? Not a slushie. Not a drink. You see, this is where you're confused.
Excuse me. Yes, I do recall.
What was that snack?
It was a pastry from Starbucks.
Okay.
And you refused it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
I brought
how
you
many
chocolate
times? What?
I brought you a chocolate before.
Okay.
You've eaten that up.
Okay.
I brought you.
You seem to be able to bring me. You seem to be able to bring snacks and eat it in front of me, though.
You may have one of the.
That's
now,
okay.
I already bit off. Not bit. I tore it off.
I don't want any of your snack. Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
You should
how
taste
you share snacks is this. Let me just say for going forward. You either bring someone a separate similar snack. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or what is that snack you have called?
Grandma's chocolate chip.
In a sealed package, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's one chip, one cookie?
No, sir, it's 2.
So you either give someone one of the cookies, or you give them a separate snack.
You were busy
talking.
First of all,
you cannot bite from a cookie and say you want piece of my snack.
Listen to me.
Don't go with my intention. That don't count now.
Listen to me. It was my intention to offer, right? But you got sidetracked by the image.
I look at my
image.
boy
now. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
I'm looking at my boy.
Do you admit that? Do you admit that?
Yes,
you
I did. I was sidetracked.
Thank you.
But do you admit that it is a very weak position to say what your intention is after someone called you out on the snack?
Yeah, but I didn't think you wanted. And I know you said that you're trying to prevent diabetes, and so I'm not trying to aid you with.
No, it's a health thing. See, you see what's happening over here?
Hold on.
Look over here. What's happening?
Kendrick laughing.
You see what Kendrick is? Kendrick is my barometer. Okay? When he can't even hold his face. Okay? That means lies are pouring out from your side.
Listen, those are my 2 reasons.
Okay.
Number 1,
health
you were distracted.
And distraction.
And I was looking out for you with the diabetes.
Okay. Could there be a third reason? I didn't cross your damn mind?
I had planned to eat this at work earlier, so I even forgot it was in there until I started looking for my stuff.
Oh, so listen now. Mm-hmm. She had planned to eat it at work earlier.
Yes.
But then she also had an intention of sharing it with me, even though she was going to call me to wake.
No, you
say,
because you already told me. No, because you weren't there. What I'm saying is, I wasn't supposed to for Grandma's chocolate chip. I was looking out for you and make sure I'm not aiding you.
I can imagine this call. Hey, buddy, listen. I eat one Grandma's chocolate chip. You want to come down for a piece of this?
And what would you? First of all, you weren't even going to answer the phone because you don't even answer phones when I call you. I answer the phone. I answer the phone when you call me.
I answer.
I respond to texts in real time when you text me.
Don't worry about it.
No, I don't come. No, worry about it.
I mean on the chip.
Oh,
on the chocolate chip.
No,
because I don't want to go. You see, either way, it's a moving bar. It's a slide rule with you. Okay, I can't win. I just simply told you.
I said I was looking out for your health, and you were distracted, and so.
The basic rules of snack sharing. That's all I'm saying. Now you got a whole set of. See, but this is good. It shows the general public how good you are at your craft.
No, it shows how petty you are.
You know
why
you petty?
You know why you petty?
Yes.
Every time you give me water, you go, have you ever bought me a snack?
No, I'm not dealing with drinks.
If I come in here with a slushie, you'll say,
the slushies. But let me ask, no, we pass the drinks.
But
I'm saying because we share drinks. But I'm just saying to you, okay, that it shows people, it shows the general public that I've been correct all along.
About?
You being a born liar.
That's not true.
Okay? You're so good at it.
That's not true.
You can look me in my face.
Hold on.
Look at you, boy. You're looking at this like I'm not.
Kendrick, please pull the microphone to you because I told this man
stop
calling me a liar on the air.
He tried to hold his
people are
laugh.
going to start believing him. Kendrick, When this man came in here, and did you not show him? Please pull that microphone. Kendrick, I am ordering you. Kendrick, did you not present him with a photo?
I did.
Okay, with the photo. Okay, he was distracted, right?
Yes.
To the point where he became obsessed with receiving this picture, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
You're correct.
Did I not make a suggestion to help him along his
You did.
obsession?
And he
Did
was
I not
happy
run
about
away
that.
from him?
Yes.
So all that was transpiring. I wasn't thinking of no cookie. I was just trying to get away, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Kendrick.
All right.
Thank you.
You know what you just did?
You're such a
Let
liar.
me tell you what you just did. Let me tell you what you just did for the driving public out there. And it's wonderful. You're an expert.
You're
Let
such
me
a
tell
liar.
you that you went into a whole thing that has nothing to do with the cookie.
The point is, you were distracted by the photo, and I didn't have time to say, hey, you want one of these? That's the point I'm seeking to make. And I was looking out for your help.
May I say something?
I looking out for your help.
Okay, I know.
more.
Okay, but may I say? Well, that's good because maybe I'll get
Let
some
your blood-
cookies.
let your blood
But let me
sugar
say
spike.
something. Yeah, but let me say something to you. I appreciate your craft. Okay. Okay. I'm serious. It is well done. It is well done. The nation can see and they can learn. And because the thing is that once you go down that road, don't give up. Just keep on coming with something. Sooner or later, the person who's the victim, or as we say in the Bahamas, the victim, okay, will just say, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. Didn't even want a cookie.
I don't want you to bring me any more bottles of water.
I'm bringing
Thank
you
you
water.
Don't bring me no water. Don't bring me no juice.
I'll get the water and I'll pump it down your mouth if you don't drink it.
Don't bring me anything. I'm good.
No, you're not good.
I can drink my
No,
water.
you're not good.
From
Drink your
Sunshine
water.
Insurance.
Yeah,
Thank
drink
you
your
very
water.
much.
How are you?
Fed up with the liar who I co-host the show with.
You know what they say? You know what the movie say, right?
What movie?
The movie. Just the movie.
No,
Just go with it. Okay? You have to ask what movie.
Okay, do it again.
You know what the movie say, right?
What's that?
It takes one to know one.
You didn't set this up just for that.
Yeah.
How was
I
your
love
day?
it.
Because you're off.
My day, I tell you, and this is the honest truth, because I try to
You're a liar.
do that, right?
Let's see.
I woke up this morning and I realized that I had something to do because last week I put a check in a fast deposit box. Okay?
I've done that.
And I've done it millions of times and I've never had an issue. But the thing is, every time I go into this bank, okay, it is horrifically crowded. Every seat is full. They have a seat line for the seniors. You know, because the seniors can't stand up. So they have a line of seats for the seniors. They have a customer service line. They got another seat of lines. I don't know what that seat for. They go in like the dungeon or what. I don't know where they're going. Then they have a line for the ATM.
A line for the ATM.
That goes out the bank.
This on like a government payday.
No, every day, anytime.
A line to the
And then they have a
ATM.
big line, serpentine, or as we say in the Bahamas, serpentine, for the regular tellers. Okay? Now, having seen all of this in previous years, I realized that the check was not credited to the account. So I realize
That
now
happened to me before.
I got to do what we call in the Bahamas intervention. Okay? Now, I know I can't call no one because what's going to happen is they can put me on the
Hold.
Faki and on hold and they
And
can
you would
hang
still
up
have
and I
to
have to
come
call.
back.
Right. So I said, I'm going to go there and I'm going to go to customer service. And you know, customer service usually 1-2 people on the line for customer service, right?
The line was
Well, let me
long,
show you how bad it was. First of all, when I went to the customer service, by the way, these places don't have bathrooms. So what I made sure to do,
Empty
I
your
went and
bladder.
peed before going to the bank.
You see how I said emptied your bladder?
Okay? Now, prior to all of that, I decided whatever I have to do, I know it's going to take a while. So what I did is I called in for a vacation day. I took a vacation day to go to the bank.
How long it took?
Close to 3 hours. So the first move was to go to customer service. The parking, that's the first thing. But go to customer service. So I go to customer service, and because I expect customer service line to be short, I went like right to the front of the line. I went to the counter.
Did the people say
And then
you
the
drunk?
people, and then I
You
looked
wanna
and
see
I
it's
go,
on this line,
and then I
boss?
no, they didn't say anything, but then I kind of looked, and I go, excuse me,
There's a line.
is this a line? They said
Oh,
yes.
you
So-
said that.
Yeah. So I went to the back of the line. Do you know while I was on that line, at least 5 people came and went to the front? Because no one is expecting the customer service line to be that long.
Yeah.
Okay? Because usually it's just a quick question.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm on the customer service line. I'm on there for like 15 minutes. Then I get to the customer service
That's long.
representative. They're very professional. They have to go in back
For what?
to check my query. Where's the check?
Oh.
Now, the bank says to me, and again, I don't know if I'm thinking correctly on these things, so I'd like to put it out there for people to listen. They said to me, did I put the branch on? And I said, no, I didn't. I put the account number and the name of the account.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought in the days of computers,
They could
you
just go
put
and
Candy name, you put the number,
That's all I
the two of
put.
them match, and unless Candy have a branch, an account at every branch with the
The
same
same
number,
numbers.
then
Then obviously
Pop
you'll
goes
be
to
able to
Weasel.
Uh-huh.
Right.
but there was no weasel. So the thing is, they couldn't find. They said, well, maybe we didn't post it. So they came back. They went. They looked. It took a while. I said, well, let me ask you a question. If you have a problem posting a check to an account,
What
don't
happens?
you have a problem box of do not post or hold for post box?
Yeah.
Yes, we do, but we can't find it in that either.
Oh my God.
So the
It's a
check is
go.
lost. So I emailed my bank because I was in my bank, right? Just put a stop payment. That's a whole another list of things I had to deal with. But anyway, so then I get online, and then it's just a long. So then after I find I have to get on the line because I don't trust the fast box anymore. So I have to get on the line now to make a deposit.
How long
Okay.
that took?
2 hours.
2 hours
I
on the line?
I started off as 26 in line.
It took 2 hours for you
Yeah,
to make it to the
I left.
counter?
I got to the bank. Let's put it this way: I got to the bank originally 11. I left at 1:30.
No, but that's including your time spent with. What are you
yes.
doing?
Oh, I did that.
PayPal.
Sometimes, and I bet I've been in everybody's hand.
I
You're
don't
so
mind.
nasty.
Yeah, but I have a clean
When your
mouth.
tongue break
My
out,
mouth
don't say
clean.
nothing.
Yeah. But that's well, the
Big
can
pump
break
on
out.
your
Yeah.
tongue.
But anyway, let me say it. It's only been in a candy bag.
Yeah.
And where can they get it from?
Well, you know she nasty, so I can't really. So anyway, so
Why are you going to go on the radio and say some stuff like that? I am not nasty.
did you bathe this weekend?
Yeah.
Did you?
I should just swipe
Like,
you.
From what I
You're
heard,
gonna swipe-
you
you're
don't
gonna
bathe on the
swipe?
weekend.
Did you?
No.
On Saturday.
looked
Yeah, I
like he
did.
funky.
Actually, I
Look,
bathed several days.
He's trying to remember.
Yeah,
Did
he's
you
trying to
bathe this
remember.
morning?
I bathed twice today.
Oh, check you out, and it's
Huh,
not the
what
day's not
time?
even done yet.
I bathed this
You're
morning.
stumbling, you lie.
Stumbling.
babe,
So
nothing.
anyone who you see on the ground who doesn't stumble, they
Yeah.
lie. Anyway, so the bottom line is I'm in this bank. And of course, what happens, what I love about the lines, and by the way, I had to say to a young guy in front back of me, he was number 27th.
Because you
That's how it
Fortunately-
goes.
fortunately-
You lie so much.
Number like 15 and number 23, they drop out. They couldn't take it no
Be
more.
waiting for people to just come off
And
the
then the
line.
guy who was like 2 in back of me, and we were like, I was like 5th, he dropped out. He couldn't take it.
This is like
I
a
said, no,
race
man,
to the
you can't
finish.
leave now, man. You've been through all of this. He said, I got to go to work.
Mm,
I said, well, I took a vacation day
just to come to the
just to
bank.
come to the bank. We're going to take a break. We'll continue the saga, and then we'll talk with Candy in a bit. Gross. Yes, we're on the air now.
I was laughing at Candy with the Richard Pierre and it come down. Famous has some ways about that. It's so funny.
The end of the saga is
Hi.
as follows. I got to the counter.
You still
It was
on
a
this bank
3-minute.
story?
It was a 3-minute thing. I
Jesus.
told you I was going to finish
Oh
it. It
my
was a
God.
3-minute transaction, but it's sad.
Stop
It's
it.
really sad because I don't have to go to that bank. That's an irregular scenario, right? But people, there are people all day saying how they take the day off to go to the bank.
I'm
Yeah.
doing that.
I have to go. I'm dreading that.
You have to pick the days when you go. So
My
first of
love,
all, you
every day.
ignore completely government pay days. Don't go to the bank.
Yeah.
Pray for a rainy day. Then you go to the bank. You do everything on a super rainy
Yeah.
day. I
But
shouldn't be
here's the
giving you all my
problem.
tips.
No, but here's the problem though. Because banks have consolidated, there is no escape.
I've
Right.
been to the banks many times.
Which
I go
bank
to
you going to?
Commonwealth
Credit
Bank,
Union.
which is always the Commonwealth Bank has very good lines. They have no lines. Okay.
Well, why is that?
I don't
'Cause
know.
don't nobody-
But they're super efficient. I'll tell you that.
Because
I
I know
go to
Bob don't
Scotia.
have no line either.
Who the, oh.
No,
oh
Bob
no,
does.
no.
Where?
Oh yeah,
Which
that's
one?
David line.
The one on Shirley Street. I don't
The
see that
one
line.
on
And
Village
Village
Road.
Road.
That's
Oh my
David line.
goodness.
Oh, but
I
I
like
don't
to
see them back.
carry my nightgown
So
when I
basically,
go
every
there.
bank has it now.
Booked out.
Yeah, okay. The piggy bank, that's about your best bet.
Scotia is
Yeah.
fine too.
Yes, I'm not looking forward to my visit there tomorrow.
Child.
Anyhow, what's
Anywho.
happening, Candy?
I can feel it when you walk, even when you talk. It takes over.
What's up?
What are
I
these
don't know
you
what
wear?
y'all-
What is these are what kind of earrings are these you're wearing?
I'm not. Oh,
Why?
these.
He on you today.
I know, right?
No, I just asked because they seem to be moving a lot.
Yes, because they
They're
dance.
dancing.
Because I think they could double as a Christmas tree ornament.
You just run right out, yeah? Could put
Right
your ears
out.
pierced?
Do I have my ears pierced?
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say,
You
put
never
this
got
on.
into that,
No.
Ed?
No, I didn't. It'll probably hurt.
Pierce your nose.
So we're going to talk about Candy.
Or your
I've
lip.
asked you to talk
Or your
about
lip.
this. Is the prep, because you know we're post Thanksgiving, post TG. So in theory,
We're
supposed to-
into Christmas
What's
mode.
today's
we're
date?
tra-la-la-la.
I don't even know what
Yeah,
the days.
people
Oh, the
got their
27th.
Christmas.
Are you in a tra-la-la-la-la? By the way, I've gotten the most fabulous discovery for Christmas. You know, you have those, the lights that, people put around, they wrap it around.
Right.
I got the laser.
Oh, the projector light
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
you put in, you stick down. Does that really? Does
Oh,
that,
yeah,
is
mine
the
wicked
effect
big
really
time.
nice? Do
You
have
should check it out.
What color? Did you
Multi.
get the white? Oh, the
What is this
multi.
for? I don't understand. What is
can't
this?
So,
find the white
like
lights.
people put lights on the roof, trim the house with lights.
Yeah.
Right.
Or on trees.
Uh-huh.
Well, these now are projector
You put it in your
lights.
yard and you project it on the
Onto a
front of your
tree
face
or a
or
house
your
How
or
does it
whatever.
look?
Well, mine
It's
are
just like a
looking
little,
good.
it sticks
Mine
into
looking
the
good.
ground. It's like a,
Little light,
I
about
got
this
a
big.
little light.
About big as that
Right
cup.
yeah, just look for out, yeah.
If you go on, let me see if I can.
And then
find
they
it.
they can do different colors.
Colors
They
and
do different.
patterns.
They can do snowflakes.
I
Like
got the
moving.
snowflakes.
You do?
I got the flakes.
Does
I
the
got
and the
Santa
effect
Clauses.
looks real? Because that
It
was my
depends.
thing.
The biggest thing is wood is
I
on.
see it.
It has to be on a
If it's on
wall.
the- if it's on the
trees,
house.
you tend to lose red on trees
Right.
because I don't know. You tend
No,
to
but I
lose
mean,
it.
if you're projecting it onto
house, it
your
looks good,
house,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't like the lights, but I like
No.
this snowflake one.
Snowflake one is
You see that?
cool.
Or the Santa
Yes,
Claus-
But
that
my-
one
I have
looks
lights
good.
You have that
that,
like
I
that?
have lights that literally looks like flashing lights, like
Right.
the old lights.
Yeah.
And when you put it like on a tree trunk, it looks like it's wrapped.
Oh
See-
wow.
See this to me?
See, I want
this doesn't.
that
This
one.
doesn't really look
No,
real to me.
I
It
don't
looks
want that.
very artificial.
And I
Anyway,
said that I would get one of
It took
those
me like
this year
15
too.
seconds to do
Ooh,
my
I like
lights.
this
50.
Halloween one.
Now, how do you keep it?
It's on a switch.
What do you mean it's on a switch?
Like the plugs
no,
that
but
I have
mean,
mine.
I know, but
It's plugged into. It's spiked
but
into
how-
the ground.
Okay, so you're not
Spike
scared
a
that somebody's just gonna swipe it?
Like why?
Take it. I mean, because we take
No,
things around here.
well, no one's taking around like Santa Clauses.
He's in his neighbor house light
Yeah,
up
but
with
no,
the projector.
people are taking Santa Clauses and stuff. I mean, people
I'm
can
just
take
saying
things.
that's a little.
Yeah, don't
different.
worry about it. It only costs $20-something. That's the other thing. It's cheap,
Where
relatively
you buy that
cheap.
from? Over
Did you
here?
get it on Amazon or something?
Online.
Yeah, online.
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 And you had it shipped.
Well, I wasn't in charge of that section.
Okay.
Are you got a Christmas tree? Y'all got tree?
No, the
yet?
tree is going to come probably this week.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah.
I'm getting mine. I want to check it out tonight when I get off.
I gotta make some preparations for my tree first. So.
Do you guys
Yeah.
move furniture?
Yeah, I gotta do. Yeah, I gotta
Clean up?
clear out some stuff
I'm hoping, of course, that in my lifetime we can do away with this nonsense.
with the tree.
what
that's not
nonsense?
gonna- it's not-
Christmas.
You better shut up.
It's
babe.
not going
I
away.
better shut up, buddy.
Hey. Just because you don't want your Christmas, don't celebrate your Christmas.
But I told people this year, I said, you know what? Since you all want to get into it, fine. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I want plenty gifts. I gone from I
You
want
know,
nothing.
what you want gifts for?
I want it
Why?
because I want to open up plenty
you don't
things.
celebrate. You don't celebrate.
No.
You shouldn't benefit
get me
from
in that?
it.
I want plenty of gifts,
You
and I
should
don't
not
name the gifts.
benefit.
And I want no cufflinks with the thingum,
with the
With the
what?
what?
with the coins. I got all them.
It should be cufflinks would say Jesus and the next one say Christ.
Yeah.
And then you just keep that right
And
there
then I
year
never wear
round.
them.
What did you say you
That's
wanted for
fine.
Christmas? What
But
do you
that's
want?
your
I
gift.
want many things.
Like what?
I want an Alexa. You
An
ever like
Alexa
that?
or?
Yes. It's like a
Oh,
little thing.
Alexa.
Yeah.
Can you please find me the song?
Right. And and I want to see if I could hook that up to TV and thing. That's what I want. You could all you want. That's what I want. I want
A yoga lesson.
Oh, just to
Private
skip.
yoga.
This is a digression. This has nothing to do with Christmas. Candy has been showing us various things. I would like to recommend for the brothers, and this could be Christmas, is to give your wives, your significant others, your girlfriends, your spouses, a gift certificate for advanced yoga.
And that's for you.
What's that?
That's for you.
Yeah. No, I'm making the recommendation, and I'm doing it in a very calm, Christmas-like voice. I'm recommending.
Open.
Yeah,
Tell 'em.
I'm recommending that all husbands, spouses,
Yeah, he
what
was
have
up
you,
right on.
give their significant others a wonderful gift, a gift of love, a gift of
love?
wonderment,
Wonderment.
an advanced lesson for yoga.
Yoga.
Why don't you do that?
Well,
yoga
you
lesson?
gotta
I know, I
get
shall.
several.
Are you flexible?
Give him several.
No,
give him
that's
6
not-
months worth.
That's all the more reason
Listen
why
to me.
you should
Listen to
do
me.
Hey, give
You
them
want to
6
give your
months worth.
excuse me. You're giving. You want to give some advice to get. Just do it. Don't interrupt my my gift giving advice.
Because I'm going around the room. How are you gonna find out? You know,
What?
what's on your wish list?
Which one you gonna get my name? That's what you want to know.
No, I just asked Ed. And
What's
I'm
on my
just
wish
asking
list?
Who do I
you.
get name
Yeah.
of?
See, you forget, Shay. You forget.
Well, I know
A Jeep
who that-
Wrangler.
Yeah.
You like Jeeps.
Give me an Apple desktop. And what did I want? $5,000 worth of groceries. That's good.
What?
Okay.
I mean, what? Spread over a course of time.
A year.
Okay, because
No, she could eat everything in about 5 months. $1,000 a
Kendrick.
month.
Everything wouldn't be food. It'd be like toilet paper and all that sort of stuff.
Kendrick, what's on your wish list? Yeah, get
Yeah,
in
pull
this.
that.
Get in this. Get in this.
Wow, the new Samsung Note.
The 8, yeah.
Definitely that.
How much was that? Like almost $1,000?
It's
Yeah.
funny how we go to technology. Hey,
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah.
A Samsung Note. What else?
Samsung Note.
That's it, actually.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite.
Oh, you
Would you tell
want
your
for
kids
much.
to get you?
Hey, you want for much.
Never been stressed out.
Yeah, I need it. You're such a good daddy.
That my parents are like that too.
My mind that way. She tell me she want a car.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Well,
no,
she's not
say
getting it, so
I was
she
just
can
gonna
want.
say
She
that.
may get it.
Okay, well, good.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
From
Can I
you?
have one too?
Yeah, so I mean,
Use my
while
mom?
you're
Oh, my
at
God.
it,
Yes,
I just want my car fixed.
I remember me say she wants a car, a coffee maker, and a blender. Take that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Once you get a coffee maker and a blender, she know that.
those are easy. Well, easier.
And Candelaria,
What do I?
what would
Well,
you?
shoot, this is still on the wish list from last year.
You know what he bite?
Can I just get and I hope my husband is listening. An iPad Pro 12.9, please. It will help my business very much.
How so? You got to sell it.
What's that?
How will it help your business?
Because I can digitize my work.
Yeah.
You use a projector for you like kind of like what he uses when you're doing your calligraphy on the
You
on
want
the
me to sit
walls,
here and
right?
tell you my secret thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
I
Excuse me. Excuse me.
You know
No,
the sad
no,
part
not
about
all-
gifts now?
a
They
lot is
don't
freehand.
fill up the tree. You know, they're so small, like iPads and all that. It doesn't fill up the tree.
I don't need
You
it
gotta
to
get,
fill up
no,
the
but
tree.
I wanted it to be the figure.
Okay,
We'll
so
get
you
fake
just
boxes.
get
Just
lots
get
of little
empty
things.
boxes.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So what little things? Like,
Well,
you know,
I
we
want-
always go for the big
Okay,
stuff.
okay. Start
Well,
again.
what I'm
then.
going to do is, I'm personally, because you
But
know,
I
I want
still
to
want
get
an
rid of,
iPad
I'm
Pro.
trying to get rid of this thing. So I'm planning to convert to Islam, and I'm going to, my wish is to have a harem.
Oh, you can get that.
Anyway,
So,
Candy, what's the
which I-
small stuff?
Which I figure could fill up the tree.
Yeah.
Plus, they could do a lot of decor. You know, give just one person an assignment.
Well, I always feel like I'm easy.
Why are you
like,
shaking your head? People have wishes.
Okay. My
Don't
bad.
down my
I was
wish.
thinking about something, so
I'm
I
going to
shook my
convert
head.
to Islam,
When?
and it doesn't matter when. I have to learn
So
the Quran.
I won't be there for your conversion.
I have to learn the Quran. Why, you want to be in the harem?
No, absolutely. I'd kill myself first.
You'll kill yourself first?
Twice.
Oh.
Yeah. Act like that and you'll be stoned.
See, you already stopped with this foolishness. What's the small stuff, though?
Like,
Because
for me,
ain't nobody
I'm-
buying me a Jeep.
No,
Jeep
I'm
Wrangler.
easy.
So you're
like,
telling me I'm not gonna get the harem?
anything... What's that?
Don't listen to this.
Oh my God.
What did you tell your kids get you, Candy?
What's that?
What did you tell your children? You
My
asked your
kids, I don't
children?
ask my kids to.
No?
give
Well,
me anything.
they're not in
No.
the shopping mode, I think.
No, but why not?
Well, they're 5.
Yeah, but
Yes,
they
no,
still,
I
hold on, but
certainly
kids
don't
tell
expect-
daddy, they say, I hear mommy wants
Uh-huh.
this or
I
whatever, and I
hear-
want to buy it.
Oh, you mean with
No.
mommy
And,
told
the,
them to
and, the, and the
relate?
parent will help them buy the gift
Yeah,
and say
yeah.
that's from, that's
Uh-huh,
from the,
yeah.
from the
My
Okay.
kids, if
son
they
or a
do
daughter.
something for me, they do stuff that is. I mean, those are the
Like they make you
sweetest
cookies.
little gifts. Yeah, like
Or they write notes
very
that look
small,
silly.
very thought. You know that is a very thoughtful gift
Mm-hmm.
because they give you what they got. You know what
like
they
paper.
have.
Okay. Y'all can get me a
drawing.
They're
massage.
like junior
something. It
calligraphers.
was really no.
They're like junior calligraphers, right?
No, but I'm easy. Like art supplies,
Yeah.
calligraphy stuff, like stationery.
So like a box
that's
of crayons.
Me.
You'd be
No,
good with
don't
that.
get me no crayons. I've graduated from
You don't even want the
crayons.
64 pack with the sharpener?
No, I do. Now I work with quality.
Mm-hmm.
items. No, I mean any kind of thing.
When you were growing up, did
But
you
not
get
crayons,
the big
not
pack
the
with the
box.
sharpener? Or were
No.
you too poor for that?
Very poor.
I was poor. I could
the
only get. I think the
sharpener.
most.
That
The
didn't
most
even
I could get is
exist.
like the 24 pack.
The 24
Well, they had like
pack.
an 8-pack.
They had the big. Remember the big
That's
pack?
what it
You know
is,
about that,
yeah.
Kendrick? They had a big pack.
Right,
it was
with the
about
sharpener?
like 64.
That was around
and it
when
had a
you were
sharpener.
small?
Crayons existed when you were.
What the hell is wrong
No,
with
for
you?
real. Let me see what the crayons.
No, I
started.
asked you the big box with the sharpener. That's a new development,
Let me
Ed.
see
That
what
did
year
not
they-
exist.
How do you mean it's not the new development? I had it when I was a kid. They had it when I was a
Crayola?
kid, and I yearned for it, but we could not afford it. So don't be whatever. Okay? They
with
had
the
that box.
sharpener in the box.
The box on the side had a sharpener.
Well,
That's first of all, let me explain something to you.
I'll be
Excuse me, let me
danged.
explain something to you. I don't know if you know this, but the sharpener has been around for many years.
I know, but
Boxes
to
have
put
been
the
around for many
sharpener-
years,
No, no, no.
and crayons have been around
That's
for many years.
all
Put
fine
them
and
three together.
good. That's all fine
Illinois,
and good.
so you
but
must
to
help
put
me
them
with the Jeep
together?
here?
Whoa.
Illinois say I must help you with the
tell
Jeep here.
Mr. Ed. I don't want you to keep saying Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
He needs to help you purchase
Yeah.
that Jeep.
I
I want
get
him buy the Jeep,
Uh-huh.
not help me.
Yeah. Well, I can say nothing because I'm respectful.
Well,
Go on.
that could be, hey, Rogan, that could be on your list for plenty years.
Hey, does she want to be in the harem?
She can be if you buy me a
Okay,
Jeep.
all right.
Is that the condition?
Just decided. I just decided on the most wonderful gift that I'm going to give.
Spread the joy.
for
Literally
people-
spread the joy.
for people for Christmas. Anyone who's associated with me in any
I had
sort of way.
associated with you.
And I think that they will appreciate it.
I think so too, Ed. It's
Um,
a
Yeah,
great
but-
idea.
And that
Don't
is
give me
a
that.
colon cleansing. Do you see how that sounds?
The
CC?
A colon cleansing. You see that?
Start
it
off the
sounds,
year.
I don't care how it sounds.
Living.
Free.
Talk about what is involved in that.
It's
Ain't
involved
nobody-
with,
That's
Clear.
your Christmas gift?
it's cleansing.
Clear
a
the
purge.
tubes.
It's you start the new year, go eat in your ham and turkey,
Right.
get all that gook,
And toxins.
toxins, and
You've
then,
had that before,
and
can't
then
you?
you start the. Did you get it upon my recommendation?
And that was, I mean, I think you gave the whole office.
He gets the whole office colon
I
cleansing.
did. I'm
think
generous
so.
like
It
that.
was
Just that
'cause it
kind
was
of
very
guy.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
give
was
hand
Christmas
sanitizers,
time.
I give toilet seat covers, and I give colon cleansings.
It's a very practical gift.
The Santa Claus of anuses.
And did you partake in the cleansing?
No, I think everyone should have one.
Did you have one?
I did.
Okay. And how
did.
did you
I'm
feel
not-
afterwards?
Cleansed? Right,
Um,
right afterwards was a little difficult.
say, "Ooh."
Well, I didn't find it
But
difficult.
no, you do feel lighter
Lighter.
and just
My colon
toxin
cleanser.
free.
My colon cleanser told me that one time she removed 25 pounds.
Yuck.
No,
Okay, I'm
you
pulling my
guys-
headphones
no.
out. Okay, yeah.
Do you guys
she's
understand
like
how much
sucking
junk you have in your?
Yeah, junk. Let me
And
be
all I
very,
have is
let me be
grandma
very
They
shit.
just
clinical.
gripping
Let me be very clinical.
the
Do you
inside
notice?
of your intestines.
And-
It's
and-
just sitting there.
Yeah, but see, think about this. Don't
I
get
like it
gross
there.
about it. Think about it this way.
It don't like in there.
You have a pipe. We're machines. We're plumbing. You have a pipe, right? And if let's think of a regular pipe, which like a galvanized pipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is it builds up
Calcium,
corrosion,
like a
or minerals, right?
Minerals.
And what happens is the opening gets narrower,
narrower.
okay? And as a result,
That's
you
why I have
start
y'all
building up
straining
gas.
right.
I'm straining.
Okay, you start building up gases. You start
You
Yeah,
start
but
what?
you-
You start what?
building
Gaseous.
up gas. You,
You
get
get
gas
gaseous.
because
I'm
you're
gaseous.
closing. You see what I'm saying? You find your eliminations narrower. Okay, when you find them narrower. So what you need to do is to cleanse.
You know, everybody doesn't have to do that, though.
No, everyone
I mean-
doesn't have to do that. I get it.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some people, their pipes are pretty clean.
Well, that's good for them. But most people, if
How
you
do
eat
you-
fast
how do you
food,
know?
Jack,
Yeah, I mean,
if
if
you
you're
eat
not
fast food,
I ain't eating fast
eating
food like that.
clean, like a clean eater,
Mondays and Thursdays.
you bet
Yeah,
your
yeah.
dollar,
yeah.
bottom
If you're not
dollar.
if you're not a
whatever.
grazer,
Yeah, you got
yeah.
junk
You're
in there.
you're
There's no escaping it.
You're eating meat. You're eating ginger snap over here. You know.
And then a lot of that stuff you're
eating.
eating,
I eat
your body
oatmeal.
cannot
Oatmeal
break
is good.
down. It cannot. It
Yeah.
cannot. It's
I drink a
gonna
lot of
stick.
water.
You have
But
stuff
here's the
sticking to
deal,
the walls
which
of
is
your
going to be
intestines.
interesting, is if you are open-minded,
yes.
and I will give you one, I will treat you to one, and you get a colon cleansing, you will be surprised.
It's what were you afraid about?
It's just water.
I need to do a tube going up
Listen
there.
to me.
It's, you know,
Listen
the
to me.
tube is not big. You know.
Listen to me.
If
You're getting a colon cleansing and that's
If
it.
it's bigger than this,
Oh,
Listen
come
to me.
on.
Listen to me,
That's
Rogan Smith. You're getting a colon cleansing and that's the
I don't
end of
want
that.
that as
You
my
ever had
Christmas
an
gift.
enema?
Well, I'll just give it
Never.
to you as a regular gift.
Okay.
You're getting it.
Yeah, we digging deep.
And I'm giving Kendrick one too.
Literally taking
Literally
Okay?
speaking.
All of y'all in here getting the colon cleansing and that's
Thank
it.
you, Oprah. Colon cleansing.
Now, thank you, Kendi.
Ooh, Merry Christmas, guys.
Look under your chair. It's a gift delivered for a colon cleansing.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Okay?
I'm so excited.
You're
so excited
you're
about-
open to it, so we're not good.
Because I've done it
to.
before. I know the
It's not a big
benefits
deal.
of it. I
It's
know
not
the
a big deal.
benefits, and it's really
Think of it as a
good.
flushing. All right, we'll be back. We have our guest, Javon Moss. He's known to me. Camille Thompson. She's known to me, and they're both from the IDB. And we'll be talking to them about what the IDB does. Bye, Candy.
Bye, Candy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, along with Rogan Smith, and our guest this afternoon, Javon Moss, who's broken his leg, and
Yeah,
might
I see that.
might I also add, newlywed. My condolences to you, and
That's not nice.
pleasure having you.
Congratulations.
I already told him that. He knows the joke. And of course, Camille Thompson Nee Davis, who is also known to me. And they are both with the IDB. Hence the IDB shirts, which
I
we
see.
do not have one of. Because most
you
people,
We
as
want
you
a
know,
shirt?
again, you're messing up
You-
the whole
you-
plan, huh?
Go ahead.
As you know, most people when they come what they call, which is swag. They've come swagless. Okay? So we'll let it slide. We'll expect at least a little IDB loan. Okay? For some funding or something.
We'll make it up to you.
You know how Rogan, you have to bring your product, like when Coca-Cola comes to visit us, they bring Cokes. Y'all got to bring some loans. Some IDB loans.
I don't want to pay it back. I just want the money.
Grants are easier.
I don't pay back.
Just bring the money, you don't pay back
I don't pay back,
loans.
yeah.
Knowledge
These are
product.
sample loans, and so we have to test them and see if they work well. And that's it. All right. How y'all doing?
We're doing
Fantastic.
fine.
Let me
Thank
put
you.
this to you. So, first of all, I got to say what both of you do at the IDB. Well, just tell me, Javon, what do you do at the IDB, Javon?
I'm the resource planner at the IDB, and I'm also in charge of our civil society. So we deal with educational institutions, all the technical organizations. Recently, as you know, I was in Bolivia.
See, that's the other thing. They're in that travel club thing. Go ahead.
It's funny that you say that because IDB is as you know, we're a multinational organization, and we're able to take with us Bahamians to international.
I've never been on one of those trips
It's,
as a Bahamian. It's coming, I know. It's coming. But let me ask you, what is a resource, what do you call it? A resource manager?
what we do is we the first part of it is manage both human and capital resources. So all the assets of the organization here locally, as well as all the contracting, all the hiring. I'm responsible essentially for all of that stuff.
Okay.
So when I need a little
So
job,
little contracts. Okay. And Camille, now what do? You've been in the IDB for a very long time. Well, I don't want to say it like that. You've been with the IDB for a number of years.
For a number of
A
years.
number of
yes,
years.
Yes.
And how
Leave it
many?
like that.
Well, what is your role there?
My current role, Ed, is I'm an operations specialist, which means that I am basically responsible for some of our sovereign guaranteed loans. For example, we have the public financial management loan that was approved last year, and 2 years prior, but we've just started implementation, and that's for 33 million. Also, you remember we had the big roads project.
Right.
That was a project under my
IDB.
portfolio as well, which was quite
I gotta start hanging with you though, because I got 128 million. And see,
that ended up over
200
million,
right?
yeah.
See, and you see where people like me come in is where when you have like a loan like that and it's like 200.2 million, The 0.2. That's all I need. We only need the 0.2. No, but no, in all seriousness, big stuff. But, I think a lot of people don't know what the IDB is all about because it has a weird kind of designation. The IDB representative here carries diplomatic plates.
Correct.
Like the guy who, is in charge of Scotia Bank doesn't have HCC plate. Why does the IDB have that kind of designation?
Well, it's an international organization, as you know, and it has diplomatic relations with the government. That is something that is established at the onset. So, as you said, we have diplomatic plates, we have diplomatic immunities, we have tax-free exemptions, etc.
So the IDB it's not a private bank. It is a bank that all of the regional people contribute to?
It's a public institution,
non-profit,
right? That is made up of member countries. We have 48 member countries.
So the Bahamas is a member country.
The Bahamas is a member country.
Well, do they contribute to funding it?
Yes, they do. There are call-in capital that the government of the Bahamas has X amount of shares in the bank, and periodically they have call-in capital.
Okay. I have no idea what call-in capital means.
I was about to say, what does that mean?
That means that they may be required to advance funds to the bank as part of its overall capital.
It's like a credit union. Is it like a credit union? No.
We're trying to break it down
because. Yeah, go ahead, Rebecca.
No, because I was going to say, for a lot of people, the IDB is a mystery, and it does go above a lot of folks' heads. So we're trying to break it down as much as possible so the folks can understand.
Because they mix it up with World Bank and IDB and all these Bs. Okay. Because you also have the CDB, too.
Correct.
Is that a piece of the IDB?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll get into that later.
Development Bank. But the IDB is formed from two types of countries. You have the industrialized countries that inject the funds into the organization.
Not us.
And then you have the developing nations like us.
Need the funds.
that are recipient countries.
Okay. All right.
So what is the benefit, for example, of the international industrial countries like the United States, the European countries, Canada, etc., is that they inject funds into the organization, and then as recipient countries, when we are executing our projects, for example, they would, we have a very robust procurement system, process, and so each procurement is advertised internationally, so that you would have persons from those countries then bidding, right?
Well,
so you have consultants, you have the engineers, you have the construction firms, etc.
Right.
When we had the roads project, for example, there was an Argentine company that won the bid.
Right.
Okay, well, Argentina is a member country, and so they were able to bid.
So let me see if I can just encapsulate for a second, then we'll go into some other things. Because Javon can tell you, he and I always have good discussions about this, which I'm sure are not going to be fun. But while there's no profit, I assume that those who contribute, either they're looking at this as some sort of aid or aid that they get back, because these loans are paid back. So it's aid that they get back, right? And the recipient countries are getting this aid/loans, essentially, at cheaper than market rates.
Correct.
Okay, so they're basically getting a grant at a cheap rate that they have to pay back. Now, I think this, what you just explained, explains a lot to me, because I've always said to Javon, in my chastisement of him leaving me, and he'll know what I mean by that, that when you have an IDB project, it always seems is that it's like fodder for consultants. Okay, that it's okay, I want to build a water plant, right? So, for instance, I can divulge this. We're now talking with government about a shuttle system, okay, that the IDB has expressed interest. And I said to the minister, we'll just do the basic submission, because I know basically when this gets to IDB, they'll take it from there, okay? Because they're going to have their consultants, their thing, their costings and all that. So no sense digging into all of that, because they're going to determine where that money goes.
Yes.
So it's a bank loan with conditions.
Right.
So
Well, what happens, right, is that the government would make a request if they are interested in a particular sector that they would like to develop. So they would make a request to the IDB, and then we would, as you say, have a team of technical experts come down and do a feasibility study.
right,
And based on that, we will determine the scope of a project.
right.
And
Okay.
as you can imagine, it is important to do all the due diligence. You know, if you're gonna invest, shell out member countries' funds, it's important for you to be able to say this is what the funds are going to, this is the feasible, this is how it's gonna work.
Right.
And so, leveraging all the experts within the region, it's important when you get projects like this off the ground.
Rogan has
What
something.
what is the Bahamas' total loan portfolio with the IDB?
Right, currently, I think it's about 350 some million.
Over 350 million?
Right. That would be the size of projects that would have happened in the last few years.
Well, 200
Wouldn't
million
say-
alone is the road, right?
Yeah.
Close to
well,
200
yeah,
million.
that one. Yeah. But okay, so what we do, right, is that every 5 years the bank together with the government would prepare a country strategy, which would take the country during the next 5 years, which is usually aligned with the electorate cycle as well. So once a government comes in, they have particular priorities, and we would work with them, to develop a strategy. So the last strategy was from 2012
12?
to 17,
Right.
17.
and the envelope was 150 million.
Okay.
And we are currently developing a new strategy, that will be approved by the government.
Right. We have a debt to GDP ratio, I believe, last time I checked at Central Bank, is like over 78%, 78.1% or something like that. Is that a major concern for your organization?
Well, I think that our organization we work together with the government, to try to identify projects that would stimulate the economy and thereby, increasing employment and other development
Growing the
areas.
GDP.
Yeah, growing the GDP, right. So that is the perspective from which, IDB would be looking at that, I mean, of course, it's a concern. For the government, is a concern for me as a citizen, and so that is the perspective from which the IDB would look at that. Yeah.
Because even though it's non-profit, you're in the credit business. It's credit, okay? So the ability to pay back. I mean, you're not giving loans away. This isn't some UNESCO thing. I mean, it's a loan. So you've got to be concerned about being able to get the money back.
Yeah.
And to the extent that the economy can fund this, I mean, does the IDB? I see some recent inklings of suggestion that the Bahamas is still seen as extremely creditworthy. That's what the IDB sees as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Even with our high debt?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I mean, when you consider, I suppose comparatively, right? I mean, I don't know what the U.S. is at, but they're, getting up there. I mean, a lot of countries, Europe is over the top.
Is it then that you look at the quality of debt then, and that's what makes the difference?
Well, that makes a huge difference because it's what you're borrowing towards. It's really what you're borrowing towards. And a lot of the IDB projects are, at the end of the day, improving lives of the people of the Bahamas. And so it's not like you're borrowing for stuff
Right.
that will go away.
It's
The
the
It's all for
infrastructure and all.
infrastructural, yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose, and I don't know if this is, I don't even know how they would measure this. Because in a bank, I used to be in commercial credit, okay? All the banks care about is, they don't care what you're getting it for. They only care that you're going to pay them back. And they're trying to make a big profit, right? So they don't care if you're getting it for tiddlywinks, as long as you can pay it back. I assume.
Well, I was just going to say
Well,
that.
absolutely not the
I mean,
case.
I'm not talking about
I
the
was just about to
IDB.
say that.
I said banks, in the commercial banks, in the commercial private banks. They don't care what you're getting it for, as long as you can show that there's a rational payback capacity, et cetera, et cetera. In the IDB, at the end of the day, especially when you look at the relationship between the industrialized countries and the recipient countries, the reality is these countries are going to come for aid anyway. Okay? So I'm just going to ask you, is there a measurement there that there's a balance between, payback and need, and, they will end up going somewhere else in my country to get a loan? You know what I'm saying? If you've got broken bridges and all that type of stuff, you need to fix the bridges. Mm-hmm. So is there some gauge there as to how you measure the need to pay back? I don't even know how to really describe it, but you know what I'm trying to say.
There is a mix between what we would consider a loan and then also grants.
Okay.
And so from the IDB perspective, it's obviously the majority of what you're going to get is loans, mm-hmm. but we also provide grants, and that grant could go towards, whatever technical expertise. It can go towards, so it's
studies.
At the end of the day, when you really think about it, if a country is going to give if somebody's going to come to me for aid, I would prefer that I know that they're going to be responsible for it, because most times when you give somebody something, when you have to now manage, monitor, test where this funds are going, then obviously it's mm-hmm. probably going to be a more successful project.
Okay.
But if I understood, the project has to be economically viable, right? Okay. And it has to be a project that.
But how does a road become economically viable? How do you gauge? That's a kind of a.
Yeah. Well,
You always talk about the quality of life improving
exactly.
as it relates to you being able to get from your house to Paradise Island.
Uh-huh.
So just imagine how your life has improved. You don't spend as much time on the road rage is being reduced. We're much more comfortable. You could get from east to west in a matter of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we also could talk about the amount of people that were hired as a result of road construction during that period of time. There is a lot of benefit that we, in many cases may not be able. Quality of. Yeah, it's more qualitative than quantitative in an example of roads.
Uh-huh. When we come back, how much time we got left? We can keep on going. So you got to swing that chair around because you got your back to Rogan there. So with your big foot, he broke his foot. We're sorry about that. Okay, so and how did you do that again? You told me, but you don't want to make that. We'll say it later off the air because you don't want to embarrass yourself. But like when you were walking or something like that. Anyway, no. So when what I find interesting, first of all, is that the IDB, while it has foreign representatives, you two are obviously. What is the makeup of the Bahamian, human resource team versus non-Bahamian?
We're right now approaching 70% Bahamians in our office.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that's indicative of most countries where they try to?
Yes.
Right.
It is.
Okay.
Unfortunately, though, Ed, I think over the years we've made a lot of, we tried to promote the bank to allow Bahamians, to get into the bank to, in other positions like technical mm-hmm. specialists, etc. And for some reason we haven't been mm-hmm. Very successful.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's something that we would like to see more Bahamians involved
right.
in the bank.
I mean, you've been there for over 25 years. What is the opportunity for Bahamians? See, one thing I like about organizations like this is that not only do you have the capacity to obviously get Bahamians here on the ground, but it's international. So you're now an employee of the globe, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have we seen Bahamians go?
Well, one of the things that we can really boast and we're very proud of is our general manager for the Caribbean region, who's based out of Jamaica now.
Who's that?
Therese Turner-Jones.
Uh-huh.
And she has really showcased that Bahamians are at that level.
Okay.
And we also have, I think, one or two staffers in Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a cadre of consultants that we have leaned on from time
mm-hmm.
to time that are Bahamians that are asked to do work anywhere in the region.
Yeah,
that's important. Mm-hmm. One thing I like to promote is for Bahamians to, go on our website, and each project has a procurement plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are all published. So, firms, construction companies, consultants, engineers, economists, architects, they can all go on our website and look at procurement plans of other countries. It's not just Bahamian centric.
Right.
You can compete. You can bid on projects in Haiti, Jamaica.
See, that's
Around the
a
region.
huge thing, right?
Yes,
because
that's
a big point.
we tend to be extremely insular, Rogan.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and one of the things I always learned when I was in banking was that Bahamians, when they go to work in a bank, there's a form, an application form, and there's a question on there. And one of those questions is, are you willing to work elsewhere?
Are you
And
willing to
we're
relocate?
not.
Relocate.
I think people say maybe Freeport or something like that, and they're probably not saying that now. So we're just not, But what's interesting is not only are we not looking to do that, we claim, and this is the test.
Yeah, I know.
This is, you know what I can say, right? Because we think alike. This is the test. We're always claiming that we have world-class capacity. Always claiming that. So when IDB, for instance, brings I'll use this example, a roadworks firm in from Argentina, we go, well, but we don't even make an attempt to bid on those jobs in Argentina.
Exactly.
As a member country, as a member country of the IDB, we have the same rights as Argentina, and any other country.
But
to
why
bid,
don't our people
to
know that?
participate.
Maybe it's just a lack of knowledge. I don't know.
Well, we've done a lot to.
Well,
promote
is
this over the years.
this what it's called about the rubber hit the what that is?
When the
What-
rubber hits the road.
whatever that thing. Is this now the salient the moment?
Tipping point.
Not the tipping point, but it doesn't matter. I can't remember what it is. But really, the benchmark to say, okay, all right, you believe that this company that's coming in here to do this solar project, that any Bahamian company could do that solar project. A, why didn't you bid on it?
Bid on it, yeah.
And B, why aren't you bidding on all these other projects throughout the world?
Throughout the world.
Yeah.
Is there a what is the data? What is the place that they can go to where they can see all of these projects?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, to say, okay,
This
they
is in
make
Argentina,
peanut, they
so
make
go-
peanut square in Bolivia. Why can't? So where's that? Where's that
It's
database?
UN Business website or IDB website. It's all there.
But this, you see what I'm saying, Rogan? This is where this
Well,
whole,
I wasn't aware of that.
No, but
Yeah,
I'm saying this
yeah.
is where this whole thing about saying how you're qualified on a world level comes into place. Why have I not heard of? Actually, I was aware of one, but I don't think I've ever heard of a Bahamian company doing business other than in the private sector, maybe in another country under an IDB grant. Has it ever
Right.
existed?
Unless consultants,
neither
only consultants.
We've had
Individual
consultants.
consultants,
Yeah.
Individuals,
yes.
Bahamian
Right.
consultants have done
So that really is, and I don't expect you folks to say this. That's really an indictment, because all of this time we've been loud mouthing. Okay, what has been stopping you, Mr. and Mrs. Construction Company? Okay, I assume that there are projects that IDB must sponsor all along the region, like housing, for instance. It's a house. And if you could build a house here, theoretically, you should build it anywhere. So why haven't anyone applied for that? That would open now all you're open yourself up to the global market.
Absolutely. Engineer firms, etc.
So we're here clamoring and complaining, and I don't mean to be, offensive, but Rogan, we're here complaining about the market here is not big enough to absorb,
Right.
and we letting foreigners in.
Yeah.
Why don't we
We
just?
could go into their country
That's
and
right. Even
get some
farms,
business. We could do that.
We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, along with Rogan Smith, and sometimes in life, your eyes are just kind of opened to realities. Rogan Smith, are you on that site?
Yes, I am.
I mean, I don't
I'm on the
expect you to read.
IDB's project procurement. I
Right.
just started scrolling.
It's just a
through.
lot of stuff, right?
It's a lot of stuff, and they have the standard bidding documents and all that different stuff. I mean, it's really good
Right.
so far.
So I've got to believe that there are people here who do things, who, as a company, can because you go into a country, you look at the and you got to be prepared to spend some money. You look at the labor costs, you look at the labor skill set, etc., and you've got to be able to say, you got the basic skill set of building a house. They're giving you the parameters on how those houses should be built. Okay, if you're an engineer, you should have a grasp of all of these different ranges of styles of homes, that you should be able to put a proposal together to put a bid. So it's not happening, So it just shows you how we have a long way to go. I think what's interesting though is Camille, if we could, I don't know, and I'm going to put the onus on you guys. I don't know how well that is known. I know you say you promote it, but
I wasn't. To be honest with you, I really wasn't.
The good thing is we're here today, and that's just a part of us opening the dialogue and starting the knowledge exchange. Because
in other words, it's just that pink building on East Bay Street.
Yeah, I know.
Blue. It's blue now? Sorry, I thought it was. It used to be pink?
Yes.
See, I thought it was pink.
You haven't passed for a long time.
Okay.
You don't go east.
Yeah, blue. Okay, blue, pink, same thing.
So yeah, we exist in this community, and we want people to know more about who we are, what we do, and so that's one of the reasons why we're here. And you're going to see and hear more from us about projects that we're working on, about the people that exist that are in that pink, it's now blue, building. Because there's some opportunities that I think Bahamians are not taking advantage of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How you not direct marketing? I mean, I'm being critical now, right? There's no sense letting me know. I could care less. I don't have any company, but I'm saying there are construction firms, there are engineering firms, there are all these firms. Are you not doing PR firms? Hey, Rogan.
Yep, that's
PR firms.
That's
let's get it
me.
together,
Let's
girl.
do this.
So let's get on our website, girl. Okay. So but we didn't know. Now we know. We're going on the website. And we got some inside track. No, I'm not saying. Anyway, so the bottom line is that you have to, in my view, direct market to these people who can take advantage of these things.
Well, the other thing is, in another country, you don't have to go out there and sit.
Well, that's
the people that want communication jobs, want PR jobs. They're following our website. They're understanding when things are happening, and so.
Because they know.
Because they're in the
I think once people know, then you don't have to worry. Then you don't have to hold them back, right? The other thing I think too, though, is this. Not think, but want to discuss is this. So there are tons of meetings here. People like me end up at these meetings, but I get the feeling like.
Just say.
I'm confused. The knowledge that they're gleaning either is not always taken into consideration, and I'm not saying it isn't, but you feel that way because you feel that these consultants are just doing this because it's a requirement to have these meetings, as opposed to, they already got the report, they already got the thing, okay? And it's almost as if we're like putting a cramp in their plan because you threw something in that they didn't really know about. But IDB required them to go in and do the little charrettes, then they can tick it off. Yeah, I did a charrette.
Yes, you're right. You're right. That's why you have people like me.
Okay.
To review once they've prepared their drafts. We go over it and we say, hey, no. Hey, what happened to you didn't put this in, etc. So we try to ensure that these things are carried through because they're important for us.
The local perspective is key. At the end of the day, it's not just about delivering alone.
Okay.
It's really about, at the end of the day, improving lives. So what we would not want to do is to execute a loan that Ed Fields or somebody at the room, somebody a part of the dialogue would have red flag. This is going to be an issue that we don't take into consideration.
Yeah. Does IDB, and I don't know if this is part of your procurement process, in the same way that I think, and Javon, I've always told Javon this, so now you can dispel this. I feel that there's this list of consultants, like somewhere, and that IDB goes to them. This is the list. And I'm saying, would it be possible, and they're obviously paid, and they clamor for these things. Is there the possibility that Bahamians are paid for these type of expert?
Certainly on Friday we have an LMK consultant, a local Bahamian that's going to start a consultancy on Friday.
But did you sort them out, or they?
We put an ad in the newspaper seeking consultants.
Okay, I didn't see that ad. Yeah. Did we see that ad, Jerron? I mean, Rogan?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm sure I read it, but I didn't see it.
We weren't looking, that's why. We didn't
and it ran in the Tribune.
Yeah. I just think there's probably a feeling that when people see IDB, they think,
that's not for me.
That's too big. That's, that's like the important people.
I agree with you.
Work on that.
What's that?
Dispel that. We must work on that.
Because it's not, and by the way, it's not also always government to IDB. So who else qualifies to benefit from IDB and grants and loans, etc.?
Yeah.
Well, we have two private sector loans that I could think of right off. One is Coca-Cola, which just recently benefited from the solar loan, and then also Awak Port also benefited from a private sector loan as well. So we work on both the government side, public, as well as private.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I could see the port, but so a private company.
Oh, wow.
Ed and Rogan Fields Inc. Well, let me rephrase that. Ed Fields and Rogan Smith Inc. If we had something going on, we could apply for an IDB loan?
You can.
We private sector window.
Through our private sector windows.
IDB Invest, right?
IDB
That's
Invest.
the new,
But your company has to be of a certain size, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Okay.
Starts at $1 million. So.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're fine. We're good with that.
Yeah, but then there are also small.
At least by next week.
Small businesses. Not like MIF. We have the Multilateral Investment Fund that would provide grants to. I know that a lot of cooperatives, like the Cooperative League, the South Andros different cooperatives have participated and gotten grants.
And you also give grants to, and I think this is why you have this liaison to civil society groups, right? Indeed. Is that correct or no?
That's correct. We've been able over the last couple of years to provide support to different groups, whether that's Creative Nassau, the University of the Bahamas, the Chamber of Commerce, the National. Yeah, we've done a lot. We've done a lot.
So the question I would ask is this: we seem to have a lot of people doing a lot of plans. There's a lot of grants, I assume loans, but a lot of grants for these projects. And first of all, I assume that some of these funds end up for administrative purposes, i.e., people get salaries from them. If you're working on a whatever. Do you have some kind of requirement or mandate that the objective be met?
Oh yeah. Every grant that we've given through civil society has to be properly reported and documented at the end of the day. So, for example, recently we gave the University of the Bahamas a grant to take students down to Guyana to participate in an agricultural seminar. They had to then come back and report, this is what happened, this is what was done. They provided us some background on actually the reports that were presented. So, and then in addition to that, we had our team out of Guyana meet them down there. And so we're, at the end of the day, there's a greater extent of responsibility. This is just not money that.
No, but I mean, that's so you're transferring knowledge, obviously.
Yeah.
But how much transfer of knowledge is valuable if it isn't activated?
Right.
If that makes any sense. Or is it just your mission to continue the transfer of knowledge, and hopefully over time it translates into activation?
That's a good question. I think it is important for us to transfer the knowledge, and it is our hope that the people that get the knowledge are the people that would be able to share it and activate the knowledge and use it wisely. And so we're very almost strict on who we're providing
the grants
to, because at the end of the day, we don't want to just give somebody a couple dollars.
Right.
No,
it's a trip.
No, we we want to be able at the end of the day to see the long-term effect of that
Right.
grant.
What was the value of that grant? How much was it?
Maybe 7,000,
Yeah, so it's not
5,000.
huge.
Okay.
It's not a huge.
But I
not
guess you're
huge
planting.
amount.
I guess
Okay.
you're planting seeds, Rogan, in the sense that
No, I get
if
it.
they
No.
do this over and over again, sooner or later, here's the big seed that person may come up with a project that they fund.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about a project in with the North Andros Cooperative that I had worked with some time ago, right? But then, it looks also at the overall picture of how many persons are you impacting, right? And how much employment are you generating as a result of this? For example, I remember we had a grant where that purchased a mother ship for a small fishing
fleet.
right
Oh.
right fleet, and so how many persons would be employed, etc.
Right.
So I mean, it's not always all about
So it's aid.
it's aid.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
aid.
As it relates-
it's aid
I'm sorry, go
to
ahead.
generate further employment. That's
Right.
very important.
As it relates to UB, you said you gave the grant for them to go to Guyana they were studying upon agriculture. Is there a list that the IDB has that says, for these things we will provide a grant, or is it just a case of somebody has to come to you and present an idea and then you say that's viable, we'll go with it? How does that work?
That's the way it works.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Thursday, eh?
If you write write a good proposal, and we see where it connects closely to, one of the ideals of IDB, and we'll make it work.
If you were to guess, you're relatively new, Camille has been there for a while. What would you say, from 1 to 10, is the Bahamians' appreciation for the access they have to these type of grants and loans and just access to IDB? How many from 1 to 10? What would you say the appreciation level is?
I'm happy that you asked that question, because just as I
Camille is
started
smiling on
work,
that. I don't know why.
just as I started work at IDB, one of the first things that I thought of was, there's so much here that I didn't know about. There's just a lot that I didn't know about. And so I said to our team, I was like, how do we make sure that everybody knows what IDB is, what IDB offers? And so we're going to do our part to make sure that our messaging gets out there. Because, if I would answer that, it's probably 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, generously.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that's very generous.
Yeah.
And for the type of work that IDB is doing, especially, and we have an internal platform called Slack, and so
Slack?
Slack. Look it up. It's a great tool. And so everybody in the region is pouring into Slack all the projects that they're working on. So every day we know what's happening in Suriname, Guyana, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, and we're also contributing as well. I just wish the world could benefit from all of that
See,
stuff.
because what's interesting? We hear now with this commercial enterprise bill, right? Bahamians complaining about a lack of capital venture,
Right.
venture capital. And I was very vociferous in saying, look, I do not wish, and of course they want the government to give it to them. I don't want a single penny of my money going into any capital venture for anyone. Is it venture capital? I'm saying it
I know
again.
what you mean.
Venture capital for anyone. I don't want to be in the risk business with my tax dollars.
Right.
But you're in the risk business, and so I don't know how wide of a scope you cover, but it seems that this is a huge resource that people are not taking advantage of. I mean, if the government of the Bahamas at one point, Rogan, had the Bahamas Development Bank, and then there's the Caribbean Development Bank, and there's the Inter-American Development Bank, it seems that the Inter-Development Development Bank is the mother lode, mainly because of their rigidity, I suppose it is, in making sure that these projects are viable.
Yes.
But the fact is they have access, and no one is restricted, correct? I mean, in terms of access to you. They don't have to get the thing, but they have access to find out.
They do have access to find out. And over the years, we've also, through the Bahamas Development Bank, supported loans for them to execute and to provide smaller loans too.
I know this is an obvious question, but why didn't that work out? Why would the IDB support? I mean, it's just strictly it's politics, I guess, right? I mean, that's the easiest way. I mean, you as a diplomat, you can't say that. The Caribbean Development Bank, completely different organization.
Completely different.
But it works on the same premise?
It's on the same premise. And IDB also provides funding to that organization for
So Bahamians
lending.
would have the same access to that, to go to other countries to do projects?
Through
CDB.
that I couldn't say.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not sure about that.
All right.
Yeah. But I must say though that while we are at maybe a level 5 generously, over the years we've had technical grants throughout the islands. I can recall a technical grant that we had with Inagua, for looking at for tourism and bird watching and all of that, and in many different islands. So we've made impact. We've had impact throughout the islands, but still, I guess persons aren't aware that they can,
You have a PR department?
I guess that's
That's
us.
Javon? That's you? Okay.
That's us.
Because Rogan in here, I had to help him. Okay. No. I mean, that's what this exercise is about. It's great. It's a great feeling for a place like this space, to be able to, because I find this remarkable.
Yeah, so do I, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know what we were going to talk about for an hour.
Right.
But yeah.
But what I find remarkable, though, is that when I run across people, because there's this big, huge complaint. I'm tired of it. Where you hear people talking about, well, why can't we get those jobs? Well, obviously, you either not apply. Let me just give you a little tiny thing.
know.
I wanted to work once in the U.S. Senate. Okay, I think I told Javon this story before. And my friends who were in college with me, St. John's, both Javon and I went to St. John's. They were from Chicago, and they said, "Oh, don't bother with that. You can get that." So, I applied, and I'm not going to go into the whole story what it took for me to get it. So later on, they said to me, "So where are you going to work this summer?" And I said, "Well, in the U.S. Senate." So they said, "Well, how did you get that?" I said, "Well, I applied."
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm. That's why you see. By the way, I have this very low tolerance for this self-pity and lack of ambition with regard to getting something done. No one is going to hand you something. The plate is out. The buffet is there. Go to it. If you qualify, ladies and gentlemen, then you will succeed. If you don't,
I have the identical story for working at IDB. I came out of college and I wanted to work for IDB, and today I work there.
so you use me as a stepping stone.
Yes.
But I get that often too.
But I
that-
encourage.
I get that often too.
Yeah.
People approach me. They say, "Hey, I want to work with the IDB." So I say, "Okay, well, and I take names. I send out emails. When
Really?
we have
I mean, I want to work with the IDB.
when we have positions
I want
available,
Javon's
I'll send
job,
them. But you never hear from them.
Is he
You know,
failing in his
really?
job? Because I'm applying now on the air. So in case he's failing, you can just call me.
What?
What? What's that? And he has a broken leg. He's no good to you anymore. So going to Bolivia, and it's a great thing, man. They're going to Bolivia. Well, you've been a million places.
Yeah, I duck
You don't even want to go no more.
Wow.
So you said
Javon's
it him.
taking that off.
Yeah, And you ain't bring me nothing from Bolivia, by the way. You're one of those people. You don't even bring nothing.
I have something from Bolivia for you.
Okay. Yeah, please
you
keep
are.
it. I don't have a vaccination. Anyway, so no. The point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important point, and I see the excitement even in Rogan's face, and she's very hard to excite. No, in all seriousness, we hear this is a telling moment.
Yeah.
This is the word. This is a telling moment, right? When you hear all of this complaints about why we can't get it, we're talking about this commercial enterprise bill where people will come here to look at investment opportunities. Okay, why can't we? The bank is your investor. You're just a skill set. So go and take that skill set and have the bank invest in your capacity to provide those services elsewhere. You're no longer now confined to this country. If you find yourself attractive and competitive, I assume you'll get the job. Compete. And by the way, if you fail in the first, you just keep trying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you what I had to go through to get that. It wasn't just the application. You had to go. I had to go, and I had to present myself and fight for it. No one is going to hand you something, ladies and gentlemen. So, Javon, I want to congratulate both you and Camille. Camille, I know you've been there for many, many years. Camille is quiet. She's a quiet type. And so, and obviously they like you. Javon is pointing at you and saying, no, you're not a quiet type. You see, the quiet type and the dangerous type, by the way. You see her, you don't have to worry about. She's a loud type. You don't have to worry about her. But I mean, obviously, the bank sees something in you that they like because you've survived. You brought on this individual. I don't know what to say about that. But congratulations
That's
to.
a good thing.
Yeah. But congratulations to both of you because, I assume that you guys, being in the positions that you have, will fight for Bahamians.
Absolutely.
Will fight for those contracts when I mean, I don't know, is there a committee? Is there a thing that you sit on when people go for, who decides who gets the jobs?
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about
When they put a-
consultancies?
Well,
Or-
consultancies, when they put the procurements out. By the way, when someone puts out a bid, do you have an arm that helps them with the process?
No, we don't.
They do
Okay,
it all
so
on
And
their
in
own.
fact, we're not really involved because it's those would be project specific.
Okay.
So depending on the executing agency, they would be the
Because
person.
one of the things that Bahamians they lack the expertise, obviously, in preparing a business plan, or is that a hindrance? Is that one of the problems that we're facing?
One of the things that IDB has done before is to do sessions on how to create these business plans.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
And so perhaps that's one of the things that we could take a look at next year. In next
We've
year.
also
That'd be
done
good.
grant writing,
Grant writing, proposal
trainings
writing.
before. We've done
Okay.
all of those.
So all this is available on your website. Like you say, when these sessions are coming up.
Oh, certainly they'd be posted in the newspapers.
You do them in the
and-
newspaper.
Oh, yeah, public.
That's good information for us
Yeah.
to share too.
Well, it seems like PR, in fact, is your biggest obstacle right now, and I'm not saying that in a negative sense. Obviously, it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And hopefully we would have helped in some way, shape, or form. But this has opened up a whole new, envelope or window to
And I
what I
think-
understand the capacity for Bahamians are.
And I think that Bahamians are prepared. I don't know why they haven't, perhaps applied in the past, but they should. They should go on our
Yeah.
website and look at opportunities elsewhere, not only
Not just
here.
well, see, I think
Yeah.
probably for so many years, because those other countries are hungry. It's so many years we've succeeded. We've done well within our own economy, and so we've kind of been lulled to sleep and have an expectation that it all happens here.
Yeah.
Okay, no one can come in, we can't go out, and it all has to happen here. That has to change. We're in a global world now, and we've got to seek opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, East
And
Bahamian is
languages are very important.
Say again?
Languagues are very important.
Okay.
The IDB has 4 official languages: Portuguese, Spanish, French, and English. So,
Okay.
learn another
another
language.
language, yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or hire someone who knows the language.
Well,
Okay, well, au revoir.
Adios.
adios.
And listen, we won't see you before Christmas, so have a good holiday season. Rogan Smith, we will see you on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Ken, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much for being here. Thank you. It was great.